TheBradRules!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Hyperstone Heist. I remember renting Turtles in Time numerous times, and I always loved playing Turtles in Time at my local arcade as well. But the time came to buy a new game, and I don't quite remember the occasion. But I was in Toys R Us, and who remembers the ticket system where the actual games wouldn't be displayed, but rather a picture of the box art and a ticket underneath it. And the number of tickets they had represented how many copies were in stock. You'd bring your ticket up to customer service and you'd get the corresponding game. I had my heart set on Turtles in Time for the SNES, and then I noticed another Turtles game for the Genesis. And I never saw this game before or heard of it, but I looked at the back of the box art and saw it was a very similar looking game. And it was different. Plus the box art was cooler. The fact that I never heard of or played the game before made the game that I was pretty familiar with seem inferior in this particular moment. So, being that I owned both systems, I went with the Hyperstone Heist. After bringing it home, I noticed the game was very similar to Turtles in Time, but then again quite different. The game had a very similar opening cutscene, but the levels, although similar, were different and mixed around. There was no opening bridge level, instead you started the game by navigating the sewers, which arguably is a more fitting opening stage. But many of the fun stages, such as the turtles fighting their way through a futuristic setting, a train, and among dinosaurs, are gone because the time travel storyline is not here. Instead of being banished to a time warp by Shredder, they instead are just tasked with saving Manhattan, which has been shrunk down by Shredder by using the Hyperstone. And can I say, Shredder looks fucking awesome in this opening cutscene. Shredder is looking absolutely shredded. Look at those striations. He's jacked as fuck. The graphics are pretty much identical, and so is the gameplay to what's seen in Turtles in Time. Sadly, you don't have the ability to throw your opponent at the screen like in Turtles in Time, but you still get the body slam move. There's also a dedicated run button set by default. Some people seem to think that this feature is unique to the Hyperstone Heist, but you can actually get a dedicated run button in the SNES version of Turtles in Time, but you'll have to configure the controls to do so. You get almost the same OST, but it has that Genesis personality that makes it a strong contender when put up against the arcade and SNES versions of Turtles in Time. Some of the villains from Turtles in Time appear and others don't. Leatherhead is here and is actually the first boss, and there is no Metalhead. There's Rocksteady, but no Bebop, which is extremely strange. The Rat King is nowhere to be found, and neither is Slash. Baxter Stockman appears, but he's ripped straight out of the 1989 arcade game as he pilots his flying pod in human form. So yeah, there's no fly mutation to be had here. I was really disappointed by the lack of villains and stages that are seen in Turtles in Time. And I wished I had chosen Turtles in Time instead, but I did enjoy what the Hyperstone Heist had to offer, despite it being an obvious watered down version of Turtles in Time. Despite many of Hyperstone Heist's stages being knockoffs and reskins of stages you've already seen in Turtles in Time, the Hyperstone Heist does feature some unique stages, one being Shredder's Hideout, which is a fantastic stage which sees you battling your way through waves of enemies both outside the complex and inside of it. This stage definitely draws heavy inspiration from the Dojo stage in TMNT 2 for the NES. You'll actually do battle with the movie villain Tatsu, which really surprised me as a kid, and the music tracks here are straight up bangers. Here, have a listen. The Hyperstone Heist incorporates many things from Turtles in Time and reworks them so they fit sensibly in the game, and instead of hopping around through time, the game does a nice job of stringing things together. Take the second stage for example. You'll start off running atop your surfboard, similar to Turtles in Time, but instead of it being in the sewer, you're out in the ocean racing your way to a ghost ship, which you will end up boarding, and this is just like the pirate ship in Turtles in Time. You'll fight your way through the ship until you come to a cave, which is basically the cave area from the prehistoric Turtlesaurus level in Turtles in Time. The fourth stage, the Gauntlet, is a giant waste to me, although it provides a pretty substantial challenge. After doing battle with a barrage of pizza monsters, you'll encounter a boss rush, where you must defeat Leatherhead, Rocksteady, and Tatsu all in a row, and then fight Baxter Stockman to cap things off. How is there a boss rush when we've only fought 3 bosses up to this point? This really is such a lazy way of having a quote-unquote unique stage. I mean, look at that background. It's the cave from prehistoric Turtlesaurus again. And having Baxter Stockman only in his human form is so lazy. It literally is just a recycled sprite from the 1989 arcade game, and the NES port of the game actually had Baxter in his human form and as the Fly, so there's no excuse here. The Technodrome is the 5th and final stage, and it's a hybrid of the Technodrome stage and the Starbase stage from Turtles in Time. It's way longer, and I could see they combined the elements of the 2 stages to make it longer, but this does mess with the aesthetic of the Technodrome's interior because it doesn't look as it should, since it is known for its white and gray color scheme, and you can clearly see how the color palette for Starbase was thrown on top of the assets. You'll do battle with Krang in his android body here, but he's not that hard and uses the same tactics as he did in the Neon Knight Rider stage in Turtles in Time. After defeating him, you'll move on to a long elevator ride that is easily double the time of the one in Turtles in Time. And the music here is superior to what's heard in Turtles in Time. It just has a bit more to it and feels more energetic. It has a faster tempo as well. When you reach your destination, you'll fight it out with Super Shredder, and he's actually easier than he is in Turtles in Time, with more opportunities to hit him from behind. Overall, the Hyperstone Heist is a solid game, but I'll be honest, Turtles in Time beats it by quite a bit, with more levels, way more bosses, and a more involved premise. Turtles in Time is superior, but the Hyperstone Heist is an excellent companion piece to it, by offering up just enough changes to make the experience more than worth it. Although very familiar, playing through Shredder's hideout is worth the playthrough alone. I definitely would recommend playing this game, but if you've played Turtles in Time, don't expect anything revolutionary. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which one did you grow up with? Turtles in Time or the Hyperstone Heist? Or did you play both of them like I did? Which one did you own? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments down below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank my subscribers for all your continued support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.